Zukerman is one of the world's leading violinists and conductors. He was most recently appointed music director of the National Arts Centre Orchestra of Canada. He is currently celebrating his 50th birthday season by performing with and conducting the English Chamber Orchestra. It was with that organization that he made his conducting debut nearly 30 years ago. He joins me now for a conversation about a lifetime of performance and the future of his beloved classical music. Welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you.
50 years, huh?
Yeah, I'm 39 and holding. You remember Jack Benny?
Yeah, I do remember that. But I mean, you're in great shape. You're doing what you love. I mean, what's there to regret?
On the contrary, I'm not regretting anything.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking forward to the next 50, huh?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Music makes you younger, by definition.
Yes, the discipline does.
Yeah.
The discipline. The discipline is an extraordinary friend. It has been since I was 7 years old. There's something extraordinarily strong and powerful about the structure of music. Music is everything. We know that from Bach to today, and of course before. And
we know what?
We know the structure. The
right.
structure, well, it's like architecture. It all comes from that. It's the golden rule. It's all that stuff. What is amazing is that we can repeat things also. We can repeat things through a lifespan of 30 or 40 years. The Beethoven Violin Concerto, the Brahms Violin Concerto, these masterpieces.
And you can come back to it and come back to it and come back to it and see it from a different experience every time.
And the point being really is that the value system should never change. And Heifetz was the one, Jascha Heifetz was really the one that for me created a value system that I adhere to, which is to play in tune with a nice sound.
to play in tune. The word you have marched by in your musical career is to stay in tune.
To stay in tune, absolutely. So that's all, and I am as vulnerable today walking on the stage as I was 40 years ago.
You mean you worry about it? You get nervous about it? You're
vulnerable. Let's just leave it at vulnerable.
What does that mean?
It means that I'm not sure I'm going to make it through that concert. And that keeps you going to that case every day. Open it up and practice those scales.
What could go wrong?
Everything.
Come on.
The memory.
That's right.
For example.
What? No. You got
where
the sheet.
am I?
You got the sheet there. Come on.
No, so you play for memory sometimes. Memory is a problem. It's not just memory to remember the notes, but to remember that you're actually at Carnegie Hall as you get older. But it's seriously speaking, I think that there is a problem with just going on stage. If you lose that vulnerability,
agreed.
Then you might as well quit.
And the hunger to do it.
Well, the hunger comes from the vulnerability, and it's really going to their case. I'm not talking about going on stage. To actually open it up and do the fundamentals every day, and Heifetz did that. Heifetz did that every time, every day. 2 hours, and he quit when he felt that no longer could he play as well as he wanted to hear himself play.
Yeah.
And that's really difficult to do. Most people can't do that.
You know who John Newcombe was? He was a great tennis player. Of course you know. Right. Someone told me a story about him this summer, which was great. Every day of his life, he'd go out in the back and he'd toss the tennis ball. He would practice the toss every day, just to make sure he had, because that for him was the most important element of his serve. Does he have
That's it.
Toss? Right.
There you go. That sound, that right hand has got to come right back again. This is very unnatural what we do. This is crazy. Imagine,
it's
40,
not natural, right?
40 some odd years I'm playing. And it's absolutely, it's that small motor, it's the rekindling of feeling of sound production. And it's...
You feel it there?
Absolutely. I feel it here, I feel it here, I feel it here, I feel it everywhere. I wake up, the minute I wake up, sound is everywhere.
See how lucky you are? I mean, that's just a gift, isn't it? I mean,
that's true.
Nobody came to you and said, we're going to give you this ability to feel sound. You had it, right?
Well, I was born with that, yes, I suppose. But then you have to, and I've been very lucky over the years, certainly in the beginnings with my dad, and then Ilona Feher, my teacher, and Galamian here. And people like Isaac Stern and Pablo Casals and Pierre Gorsky and all these people I knew. I'm kind of a bridge between the old and the new. The new millennium is coming. Now that I teach a lot, I tell these kids about Milstein and Szigeti and all these people I knew. I was very fortunate. And I played music with all of them. Also, I played chamber music all the time with them. So I was very fortunate. And that I'll just pass on. That's just a tradition.
Pass on what?
Pass on the feeling and the value system of those printed notes. That's really what it's about. It's actors, it's Shakespeare. For us, it's Bach and Beethoven.
I know you've been asked this a million times, but let me just get it myself because you're here. You just mentioned Shakespeare and Bach and Beethoven. Are there people with us today who we will appreciate 200 years from now as we do Shakespeare and Bach and Beethoven today?
You don't mean the practitioners, you mean the writers.
Well, I mean,
composers.
You have composers on the one hand, writers, composers, yeah.
I have to
I
believe...
think of Bach and Beethoven and Shakespeare as composers.
Okay, very good.
I mean,
Good to
I didn't realize
Charlie.
Shakespeare was a
yeah, he is
violinist.
composed, yes, you're right. Well, I'd like to believe that it's going to be going on, a tradition. I won't be
it just
here.
seems like the founding fathers of the United States in politics and people like, you know, I mean, are we talking about we don't produce people like of that genius anymore? Or does it just take time to find them?
I think it takes time for the art form to seep into the person that's looking at it.
Yeah.
And that comes with life experiences. It comes with knowing. Yeah. And time gives you the knowledge of knowing more.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I went down to see the Van Gogh exhibition at the National Gallery. I mean, he'd sold almost nothing when he died of his own hand at 37 years old.
That's a phenomenon of this century, Charlie. That's a phenomenon of the last 50 years, where composers even have made money during their lifetime. Most of them didn't. They were starving to death. But that's a phenomenon of this century.
Mozart, did he?
Nah, he made some, but he spent it all on pool and whatever else he did.
Women.
Women, I suppose. I think there's a great phenomenon of the arts being such an incredibly expensive thing too. It's very unusual. Yeah.
But my point was, we appreciate Van Gogh, as you know.
Oh, sure.
We didn't then. His contemporaries did.
I have to tell you a
story.
They
knew. Again, knew.
I have to tell you a story vis-a-vis that. I played in Bilbao many years ago, and there was a Rogues Gallery backstage, and there was a picture of a quartet, and I recognized the handwriting because it was Pablo Casals. And the date underneath was 1891. Make a long story short, I saw him in Puerto Rico a few years later, and he came to the concert. He allowed me to play Bartok concerto in Puerto Rico, finally. After Debussy, he didn't know about music, right? So finally I'm playing Bartok, and he came to the concert. I went to see him, and I sat next to him with his big pipe, and I said, "Did you like Bartok?" He said, "Oh, beautiful slow movement, okay." I said, "You know, I was in Bilbao, blah, 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 1891. Did you play Brahms? Did you go and play for Brahms?" And he said, "No, mistake, big mistake." I said, "Why was it a mistake?" He said, "He was not popular." 1891, Brahms was not popular.
That's a great story.
That's from the horse's mouth.
Great story.
So there you
He
go.
was not popular, Brahms. Who would have thought?
There you go. So, you know what's interesting? This year, apropos that story, Takemitsu just passed away. He was a wonderful friend of mine. Great composer. He has had his music played more this year in more places and capitals around the world than ever in his whole life. So the acceptance of that, I think, takes time. It just takes time.
You were a child prodigy.
Yeah, of sorts.
What does that mean?
I gave my mother hell.
You said you were a temperamental little college. You were so temperamental, so bad behaved that they said he's a prodigy. That's why he behaves that way.
She sent me to the market, and by the time I got back, the bread loaf was gone. You know, the loaf bread gone. So I went back, got another one. That's prodigy. That's smart, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. When did you think about conducting?
I started conducting at school at Juilliard because I was thrown out of orchestra and I needed credits. So it's true. And so I went to Gordon Hardy and I said, "Gordon, I need some credits." Well, he said, "Go conduct." So I went into conducting class.
Yeah.
But I've always had that knack. I wanted to know about the orchestra because music goes this way. It does not go that way. Even though the melody, I'm a single-line player, being the violin, but the harmony is what creates tension and relaxation, of course. So that's really what it's about, and I've always played chamber music, so it was an extension. It was just a normal extension of my musical being, and
how much of your time today is playing the violin, and how much is conducting?
I don't really know. I play most of the concerts that I conduct, except now, of course, in Ottawa.
You play most of the concerts you conduct?
Well, I play some piece in it.
Okay.
I mean, tomorrow night, for example, in Chicago, I'm playing a Mozart concerto, and the rest I conduct. So how much is that? 1/3, I don't know, 1/4. It's hard to. But in Ottawa now, when I'll be going up to Ottawa, I'll be probably conduct. Some weeks where I'll just be conducting.
Now, why did you do that? Music director of the Ottawa National Arts Center.
I like Eskimos.
You don't have any Eskimos in Ottawa. Come
I
on.
love Canadians.
Do you really?
Well,
This is a guy who was born in Tel Aviv.
I like the cold. I really do. I love the snow. Yes.
You just told me that you're going to retire to Santa Fe.
I want to pour this glass on each other. No, I'm retired in Santa Fe. I have a few years to go. I'm going to build something in Santa Fe that will encompass the arts and teaching. Seriously.
Really?
Yeah.
You like teaching?
Very much. Very much.
What's that about?
Just passing on information.
Yeah. It is the value thing that you feel, and therefore you're a link in the value question that you talked about.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. But passing on information. That's all it is. That's all we can do. We can explain one more time to yet another person that cares about the music that they hear and feel, what is this ta-ta-ta-tam all about? You know, is it an anticipation or is it a statement? What is it? You know, we talk with this all day long. You know, is it ta-ta-ta-tam or is it ta-ta-ta-tam? What is it? Well, who knows? It's abstract.
Yeah, but do you think the composer went through that when he wrote it?
Beethoven? Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe. I think he had a big struggle.
He said.
But imagine what chutzpah he had to start a piece with a rest.
Yeah.
Well, a rest is not really a rest. It's an anticipation. A rest is a GP, a Generalpause. Usually that happens. And then there's absolute silence. And then it's Generalpause. Okay. But otherwise, rests are not, they're anticipatory, all of them. When we go to sleep, we anticipate the next day. We're not sleeping. We're anticipating. So it's a concept in a sense. Very simple. Anyway, go back to Ottawa for a minute.
Yeah. So you can teach up there.
I can teach. I can also make music. I like the orchestra.
Right.
I like the people. The place is called Silicon Valley North. I'm very involved in...
You like high-tech stuff?
Well, I like the interactivity part a lot.
Do you? Be able to communicate back and forth?
I teach through screens now. At the school in Manhattan here, we have a video conference. And when I'm on tour, I go back to, and I teach on video. It's fantastic.
So you carry...
No, I don't carry anything. I go to a center, someplace, or an office. Oh, yeah. For years I've been doing this now. I was the first one to install it in the music school. Thank you.
You're an interesting guy. Roll tape. Here is you playing, we'll see what it is. You can tell me. Roll tape. Teaching, conducting, chamber music.
Be good father, good husband, good friend. And just continue what I do. I'm very fortunate. I'm very lucky. I have an incredible life. And I just hope I can stay healthy long enough and be able to listen to my playing.
Yeah. You couldn't do what you do without perfect pitch, yes?
Oh, no, you can. Of course you
could?
can. Oh, yeah. Relative pitch, of course. I happen to have perfect pitch.
Yeah.
But
You think that came from the fact that your parents were musicians?
I don't know. If I knew that DNA, boy, I wouldn't be sitting here.
I'd love for you to come back sometime. It's a pleasure
Sure,
having
it'd be
this
great to come
broadcast.
back.
Thank you. Pinka Zukerman. Thank you for joining us. See you next time.